Okay, this is a review before we do the Module 9 test. They call it a celebration of your learning. So as you are working through this review, you need to pause the video and work the problems out on your own and then check your answers. If all you're doing is copying down what I have done, you're the one that is not learning. You will not be able to use the review on your assessment, so you need to understand how to do these. So pause the video and do the first problem. It's the exterior angle theorem. If you don't remember what it is, look it up in your notes. Pause the video now. Okay, here's a check of your work. The exterior angle theorem says the measure of the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles. So 80 degrees plus x degrees is going to give us 110 degrees. I'm going to subtract 80 from both sides. And x degrees is equal to 30 degrees. Okay, mid-segment theorem. Remember what the mid-segment is? If you don't, please pause the video and look at your notes. Okay, what is the mid-segment theorem? Remember, the mid-segment is in the middle. That means that the length of the mid-segment should be half as long as the base. So if I'm getting ready to solve this, I'm going to multiply the mid-segment by 2 to get the base. Okay, I'm setting up my equation to find x. This is 2x plus 30 is equal to x plus 21. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. X plus 30 is equal to 21. I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. And x is equal to -9. Now, a length can't be negative, but x can, as long as when we put the number into our expression, we have a positive number. So if I'm looking at VW, is equal to x plus 15. But I know that x is -9. -9 plus 15 is 6. At this point, I know this length here because all I have to do is multiply 6 by 2 and I get 12. If I don't remember that, then I need to substitute in once again. So NL equals x plus 21. So that is equal to -9 plus 21, which is equal to 12. Either way you do it, you will get 6 and 12 as your two answers. Triangle sum theorem. You've got the measures of 3 angles of a triangle. And you want to find the measure of one. Draw the diagram and see what you're looking at, and then solve. Pause the video now. Work it out on your own first. Well, I hope you tried. So if I am drawing the picture, okay, I've got the three angles of a triangle. The triangle sum theorem states the sum of the three angles of a triangle do what? Well, they add up to 180 degrees. 3x plus 20 plus x minus 5 plus 2x plus 15 is equal to 180 degrees. Combine your like terms. 3x plus 1x is 4x, plus 2x is 6x. 20 minus 5 is 15. 15 plus 15 is 30. Subtract 30 from both sides. Six x is equal to 150 degrees. Divide by 6. And I've got $1.50. I'm going to divide it 6 ways. What do I have? I've got a quarter. So x is equal to 25 degrees. Now, I can easily find any of these, but it asked me to find the measure of k. So the measure of k is x minus 5, which gives me 25 minus 5, which is 20 degrees. Okay, for the next one, the sides of triangle ABC are tangent to circle P at points Q, R, and S as shown in the diagram. Which statement is true? Okay, this one I am not going to give you the answer to. You're going to have to look it up. You're going to have to think. So use your book and see if you can figure out what's going on there. Okay, a circle with center O is circumscribed about triangle BCD. Point A is the midpoint of BD. If AO is 12.5 inches and BD is 60 inches, what is the approximate radius of the circle? So how do I find that? Well, let's think. If this whole thing is 60, the whole thing is 60, how much would this piece be if A is the midpoint? It would be 30. This is 12.5. What is my radius? The radius goes from the center of the circle to the edge, to a point on the circle. What have I created? I've created a triangle. What kind of triangle? A right triangle. Now what? The Pythagorean theorem is the correct answer. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And I know that I'm looking for my C. 12.5 squared plus 30 squared equals C squared. The opposite of squaring is taking the square root. The square root of 12.5 squared plus 30 squared will give me C. I can do this all at one time. Close it off. Hit my enter button. 32.5. And that would be inches is equal to C. Okay, for the next one, you're given that P is the incenter of the triangle. You're wanting to find X. Remember, the incenter is where the triangle bisectors intersect. Where the triangle bisectors intersect. Pause the video and think this out. Well, I hope you tried. Angle bisector means what? It means that it's cut exactly in half. So if this one's 23, this one's 23 degrees. 44, this one has to be 44 degrees also. And I'm looking for this one up here. Triangle sum theorem tells me what? They add up to 180. X degrees plus 23 degrees plus 23 degrees plus 44 degrees plus 44 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So X degrees plus, if I do 23 plus 23 plus 44 plus 44, I end up with 134 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Your last step is to subtract 134 from both sides. So X degrees is equal to 46 degrees, and we're done. Okay, number 7 is talking about the perpendicular bisectors. What is a perpendicular bisector? Well, it's perpendicular and it cuts the edge in half. So if D is a point where they intersect, and you know the length of AD and you know the length of DC, how are you going to find the length of BD? First thing you need to do is to draw the picture. If I'm looking at AD, and if I'm looking at CD, what do I know about those two pieces? Well, they're congruent, because where the perpendicular bisectors intersect, it makes those lines all congruent. So we actually know that DB is going to be the same length as these other two. So 2x plus 6 has got to be equal to 7x minus 29. Subtract 2x from both sides. Six is equal to 5x minus 29. Add 29 to both sides. $35 is equal to 5x. Divide by 5. X is equal to 7. Now, which one do I want to use? I'd probably use the bottom one. 2 times 7 plus 6 is equal to 14 plus 6, which is 20. So we know that the length of BD is equal to 20, and that will be meters because they're all congruent. Okay, so what are the endpoints of the mid-segment that is parallel to AC? So we're looking at the mid-segment that goes this way. How do we find the endpoints of that are in the, how do you find the midpoints of a segment? The midpoints we're looking for are segments CD and segment CA. No, it would be AD. So with that much information, pause the video, see if you can do it on your own. So if I'm looking at CD, this point is 3, 5. And D is 5, 2. Do you remember the midpoint formula? You add them together, 3 plus 5 divided by 2, and then 5 plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, 3 plus 5 is 8, divided by 2 is 4, and 5 plus 2 is 7, divided by 2 is 7 halves. So it's a 0.4, and it'll be right here. For AD, the point A is 1, 1. Point D is still 2, 2, 2, or 5, 2. So for the midpoint, we have 1 plus 5 divided by 2. And then we have 1 plus 2 divided by 2. Six divided by 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 3, divided by 2 is 3 halves, and that is our point. So we're looking at 3 and 3 halves, and this is our mid-segment. So I'm actually going to want to draw it in. And I know that these two are parallel. Okay, on the next one, this time they've kind of changed it around. We know that D is a midpoint of BC, so that would be here. And we know that F is a midpoint of AC, so that would be right in here. Actually going to get rid of this line here because I'm not going to be using it. Because we're looking at the other, one of the other mid segments. So if we're looking at angle B is 48 degrees. And F is the midpoint of AC. And we're wanting to know this angle here, this is D. We're wanting to know that angle there. What do we know? Well, we know it's going to be congruent. Those are congruent angles. So the measure of angle CDF is equal to the measure of angle B, which is equal to 48 degrees. They're called corresponding angles. Okay, and we're to the last page. So we've got a centroid. If we're looking at a centroid, what is the relationship between those segments? Look at the centroid theorem if you don't know. Pause the video. See if you can do it on your own. Well, if you did not remember, I hope you looked it up. These are in a 1:2 ratio. So if your smaller one is 6x, then your larger one is 8x plus 4. So 2 times 6x minus 8 is equal to 8x plus 4. $12x minus 16 is equal to 8x plus 4. Subtract 8x from both sides. Four x minus 16 is equal to 4. Add 16 to both sides. 4x is equal to 20. Divide by 4. X is equal to 5. I have found x. So for FG, I will use substitution to find FG. It's 6x minus 8, which is going to be 6 times 5 minus 8, not minus 9, which gives me 30 minus 8, which is 22. And that will be units. We don't know what units we're in. K4, GC. It is 8x plus 4. We could actually just multiply FC by 2 and we would get the same thing. So this is 8 times 5 plus 4, 40 plus 4, which gives me 44 units. Okay, pause the video. What is the perimeter of triangle ABC? What is that perimeter? Well, I hope you tried. So, if this segment is 7, these are your mid segments because you know by the tick marks. If this is 7, this bigger one is 14. If this one is 5, the bigger one will be 10. The base will be 10. If this one is 10, this will be twice as big. It will be 20. So the perimeter will be 10 plus 20 plus 14. So 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 plus 14 is 44 units. Okay, once again we're talking about the centroid. Hopefully after we've done one problem you remember the relationship. If you don't, look it up. Well, if you haven't paused the video, pause it now and work through it on your own. And then check your answer. I hope you tried. So if I'm looking at this, if this is 122 centimeters, what is the relationship between AG and GD? This is a ratio of 1/3 to 2/3. So this piece is twice as big. I take 122, I divide it by 2, and I get 61, and that will be centimeters. So make sure you study over the weekend. You can put as much information as you want on a note card, and you can use the bigger note card. So anything you want to use on the test, put on a note card. So we're going to do it a little bit different than normal. You cannot use your notes, you cannot use a review sheet, but you can use a note card.